Since I just did a story about basketball, I want to talk about another situation that came up with basketball. The chairman of the board that hired me and that was in office my first year was Dr. Wallace Leary, veterinarian, family man, had both boys and girls in his family. Wonderful fellow, the kind of man that any superintendent would be proud to look up to and to serve under. Well, the basketball season and the football season was over. Basketball season just getting underway. I'm a sports fan. I never missed any home games. I might have had pneumonia or something, might have missed one, but otherwise no way. Dr. Leary calls me up one day and says, I notice that you come to the home games and you're a good supporter and you really enjoy them. So does your wife. Yes, sir. We really do. But he said, I notice that you don't go to the away games. No, sir. Most, if they're close, I do. But if they're out of the valley, those trips get so long that just to conserve energy for myself and my family, no, I don't. Well, he said, you're going to the one over at LAJUNTA next week. All right, sir. And I'll pick you up. Well, that's nice. I appreciate that. Well, he said, we can talk a little coming and going. All right, sir. Well, when you get that kind of message from the board chairman, your mind does a few investigations. What's the hidden message here? I don't know. Maybe he's telling me I really need to go to all the away games. He doesn't seem to be the kind of a guy that would insist that you do that, but maybe knowing our community, he's giving me some good advice. At any rate, he said we'd be doing some talking, going and coming, so I'll probably find out what it's all about. Well, Dr. Leary picks me up. We visit about this and that and the other. No big deal about messages that I could pick up on the way over. We go into the LAJUNTA gym. And I might be mixed up whether it was LAJUNTA or somebody else over in that area of Colorado. The years do go by and the memory's not as good as it used to be. But this particular gym that we were in that night was the kind that as a player and as a coach you don't particularly like. An old gym, an old style. We used to call it playing in a well. The floor is about, I don't know, 6 to 8 feet below the eye level of the lowest seating in the house. And then the seating, of course, goes on up. And in front of the seating on both sides, concrete wall. Man, you hate to play in a place like that. If you stumble, if you get tripped, if you get bumped into that wall, it is unforgiving. It hurts. And it's just a closed-in feeling that's not, I guess when those gyms were first out, they probably were the cat's britches. But after playing on more open gyms for years, they don't feel very good. So I thought maybe he just wanted me to see the circumstances that some schools put our kids in. Game's over, B-team game. It was a good game. I don't remember if we won or lost. I do know that I felt his boy played well and told him so. The gym cleared, referees leave, the crowd's growing. As you well know, not nearly as many people come to see the B-team play as come to see the A-team. Well, from the left hand, we were facing the gym from, I believe, the south side. At any rate, on the left-hand corner facing us, all of a sudden comes in, I'd swear, a 30 or 40 piece band. Wow. And they start tuning up. Then in comes a string of cheerleaders. I think Alamosa had like 6, maybe 8, I don't know, cheerleaders. LAJUNTA must have had twice as many. My gosh. And right behind them comes I think they call it I don't know what the name, we had a name for those groups. But that group that they brought in must have been 40 or 50 kids all in uniform, dressed, you know, whoa, very impressive looking group. When that band was through tuning up, and by then the crowd has grown considerably because, as you know, a lot more people come to see the A-team play. I guess I already mentioned that, sorry. When that band struck up, that crowd got to their feet and cheered and yelled, and in came the basketball team, and I think they might have raised the ceiling a few inches between that band, those cheerleaders, that cheering squad, and the fans. Wow! And it didn't let up for several minutes. I don't know, probably 5 or 10, but it seemed like 30. Maybe it lasted until they started introducing the players. I don't know. Dr. Leary says, "This is what I wanted you to see. Our team's beat, and they're not even out here on the floor yet." And I suppose maybe Dwayne Lewis is smart enough that he kept them in the dressing room until part of that hoopla was over to try to minimize the effect that would have on the visiting team. Dr. Leary never said, now listen, do you think you could do something to help us create that kind of spirit in our gym? But I thought that might just be the message. And I can't remember how rapidly we were able to make progress, but I can tell you that long before I left Alamosa, pushed out as superintendent, Alamosa was almost a dangerous environment to come into because we did everything they did. We got every bit as much response and with much bigger crowds. Much bigger gym. Could hold a lot more people. And that Dwayne Lewis, oh, did he keep that program strong? And did he ever bring in some great teams? He understood that if you want your team to be great, put them up against great competition. I remember seeing a black team that he brought in from Denver come in that, wow, did these boys and our boys ever get it on? And I can't remember whether we won ever or always. All I know is tremendous games and a fun experience to be part of Moosey Maroon basketball. Why Moosey? Because somebody sometime said that our mascot should be a moose. And right there above the door, the main door that you came through to come into the gym, was a big old moose head with a magnificent antler span. Alamosa basketball was great.